Alright, and go.
Our next stop is Phippen Museum.
Phippen.
Wait.
There's no H. I mean, there's H in the first one. Alright, ready?
That's why I said Phippen.
I thought you said Phippen.
No.
Oh, it's just the same one part, and then do our next stop, our that stop, and all the stuff. And go. Over here, blocking the sign, and go.
Our next stop is Phippen Museum. Now we are at Phippen Museum. Our last stop is Phippen Museum. Our first stop.
Yeah, sure.
Our first stop is Phippen Museum.
Actually, when you came in, you probably saw the see belonged to George and paintings. We only have a copy of it, but it was done in 1949, and it was based on a cowboy song called Ghost Riders.
Yeah, that one. Ghost Riders.
Ghost Riders. The one behind it is one that he did in 1950. Can you imagine what that Western song was? Everybody thinks about horses, but mules are. So there you go.
Oh, it says having a kind heart.
Actually, George tried to sneak a pair. Keep painting as long as you can keep enough food for 2 months. That he used as models for his work.
And go.
Right now we're in the gallery of George Phippen, an artist who lived in Prescott, and in eighth grade he not graduated school so that he could farm, right? So he could farm?
Yeah.
In 8th grade he not graduated school so that he could farm, and then he became a painter. And now we can show that.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah.
This is a replica of his studio, and that painting is based on the song Ghost Riders in the Sky. This is the Devil's Herd because I think that's part of the lyrics. Mm-hmm. And here's a painting of another song that I've never heard of called Mule Train. He wanted to sell it to someone for $12.50, meaning $1,250, but they thought he meant $12.50, and they still didn't buy it because they wanted it for under $10. Before he painted it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, 1, 2, 3, cheese.
And on his horse there, it's out where a man on a horse is still king. And it shows some of George's humor. So what do you think's going on here?
Is that a cow?
Yeah.
That's a cow, that's a
It's
horse.
a stubborn cow.
Wait, he's getting attacked by that.
He's
Oh wait, what happened here?
Well, would you like the story?
Yeah.
Okay. Cowboys would brand their cattle
Oh, yeah.
when they're babies, when they're calves. They would get a brand. And so what this cowboy was doing is he was roping this calf, which is a young cow. He roped that calf, and he was going to drag it over to a branding iron fire. And he's got him tied here to the horse. And the calf is calling for its mama. It's going, ma, ma. And here's mama cow saying, what are you doing to my baby? And he's put that cowboy up a tree. And I love the expression on the horse's face.
A lot of his stuff have horses on it.
Yes. Well, once again, cowboys.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you are in a cowboy museum. And that was primarily George's focus. Though he did some other things, historical events. So this would go back in time, back in probably the 1800s. And we know that for a couple of reasons. First, slick fork, because it's slick. You can easily slip out of it. So those are called slick fork saddles of the golden age of the cowgirls. So they limited the events that women can participate in to primarily barrel.
Alright, go.
This is one of my favorite paintings so far because it's kind of funny. So the guy was riding his horse and they were roping this calf. So the guy was riding his horse and they were roping this calf to brand it, and then the calf called for the mom horse. Oh wait, why am I saying horse? And then the calf called for the mom cow, and the cow got mad.
And chase him up a tree. And
Oh, yeah.
that's why the painting's called.
And the cow got mad and chased him up a tree, and that's why it's called treed. Moo.
And that same image would come over here as an outline that he could turn around and paint.
Oh, so like copy and
Yeah.
paste, or
Well, kind of like cut and paste in the old ways. Carbon paper has.
There's that thing.
Yeah, that is a painting that George Phippen did
Is that a
for.
dragon
Well,
or devil?
I think it might be the devil.
okay.
It's called Tying a Knot in the Devil's Tail, and it's based on a very cowboy in Prescott named Gale Gardner. You wonder what his tail for a joke, and they rode off and left him there tied to a blackjack oak. Made the first foundry in Prescott. 1,000 works, paintings.
Wow.
I'll show you. It's a bit of a trick. Because this is a step, and this is a step, and
Oh, that's fun. That should
oh,
be earlier today.
yeah, probably get up in here like so. Would you like a hand up?
Alright, here, hold the camera first.
Let me give you I'll give you a boost up.
No.
Okay, you're gonna do it yourself.
You gotta do
aren't
this stuff?
Careful! Careful.
Mommy.
You got your step? And you got your step? And there you are.
I could have done it by myself.
Well, you pretty much did it by yourself. Wore me out. Okay, step and step.
No, I'll go to the back.
You're going to the back. There you go.
Alright. Look here, everybody. Hey, why are you blocking Calmu? Put him back up. Alright, right, look here. 1, 2, 3, cheese.
So he wrote these characters. Ow! It shocked me.
Okay.
I think he's okay.
You made it. Better than I did. And how we doing over here?
You got it?
You made it.
I can't. Got it.
Yeah, can you imagine? Gallery dedicated to another artist.
What?
Primarily with the Native American tribes here, both the Hopi and the Navajo. So, can you tell which are which here?
What? Hopi and
Hopi and Navajo.
I can't tell.
wait.
Okay.
Wait. What's the section? Maybe I can.
This is the Ray Swanson Gallery.
Wait, what was
Oh.
he? When did he paint? Like he came around.
He was, yeah, much later than
Is
George
this the
Phippen.
Navajo?
These three paintings
Oh,
here
wait, that's
are
Hopi.
of
That's a
Hopi.
Hopi. Yeah.
Okay.
These three paintings are of Hopi. Those are Hopi maidens over there. And after the Hopi marry, they don't wear their hair in that butterfly. Hair are of Navajo.
There you go.
We're in a different gallery, and this is a replica of Ray Swanson's studio. He did a lot of paintings about Native Americans, including the Hopi and Navajo tribes, I think. And, right. Okay. And so this is his original oil painting setup. And most interesting thing is that big mound of dried brown stuff. That's what that's where he just scraped off his paint after he was done. Wait, that's how he scraped off his paint and just left it there after he was done painting. We throw it in the trash can. And brother, wait.
Alright, yeah.
When we're at art class, we use odorless turpenoid. I don't think it's the same brand though.
Of various Native Americans. Like this gentleman here shows up, I believe, in this pair of babies.
Oh, I did it.
And this doll, Ray used these to make those watercolors with.
Oh.
So he did watercolor and oil painting.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
So everything he did was based
So what they saw, or for details. Some artists are. It features the work of a local artist, Bonnie Casey, and she still lives in town. She's 91 years old now.
Her signature is interesting. Are these not? Oh, on this one, I think she just put Sharpie to sign it. No? It doesn't look like.
Yeah, probably.
All right, and go.
This is a rotating gallery, and the current artist, Bonnie Casey, is 91 years old. She lives in Prescott, and this is one of her paintings. And this is one of her paintings of Prescott in probably the 1980s or somewhere in the late 1900s. Oh, and Thumb Butte, right?
Yeah.
And in the background of this one is Thumb Butte, which is like a tall mountain thing. We were gonna hike there later today, but now we're almost certainly not going to because we're worn out.
Okay.
He formed Company A of the Rough Riders to go with Teddy Roosevelt and invade Cuba.
Oh, Forces Katak.
To be in the courthouse square. He learned bronze sculpture. Learned the trade. This focus is primarily directed at in a soft clay. And that's the basis for all of these bronzes. Is after you make a clay, you get a mold off of the clay. And after that, they encase the wax. So if you were going to...
All right, and go.
We're in Bill Nebeker's exhibit, and this is We're in Bill Nebeker's sculpture exhibit, and this is a work in process. So, wait, this is the clay.
Clay.
Okay. This is the clay. Wait. This is the clay model of the sculpture, and after that, then they use
They use it to create a cast.
Okay. This is the clay model of the sculpture, and after that, they use it to create a cast, and eventually molten bronze is poured into the cast to make that. And eventually, molten bronze is poured into the cast to make the actual sculpture. I hope I got that right.
Also plays the guitar. Well, this is the last one he did, and it memorial.
Okay, I don't think we passed for that.
Well, this is what we have as a cowboy heritage room. This wagon is called a chuck wagon.
Oh yeah.
Their bedrolls and all their food.
Oh, that's what it's called. Okay.
Now you'd think that because the beef was going to market, the cattle are.
One. Only a little bit to your left. Yeah, right. All right. 1, 2, 3. Cheese. And go.
And that is the Phippen Museum.
Your favorite part?
Wait. My favorite exhibit was, or should I do it? My favorite painting was the Ghost Riders in the Sky. That one was so cool.
Yeah.
I liked how there were different sections for each of the artists. For each of the local artists, right?
Yeah.
I like how there were different sections for each of the local artists with a lot of cool paintings and sculptures. And we didn't mention this earlier, but one of the sculpture galleries was made by the younger brother of the person who did Mount Rushmore.
And then what's something that you like the best?
Oh yeah, okay. My favorite painting was Treed, the one where the cow was wanting to attack the guy who climbed up the tree.
Good.
Overall, it's pretty cool. Come check it out, and then on to the next.
Overall, this was a very good art gallery, and we even learned history of some folks in the area. And it's now on to our next stop.